So good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss our next chapter. Uh, in last three chapters, we discussed about environment inside the earth, and also we discussed about uh, what our changing earth. So now today we are going to see the chapter 4, that is air. Our earth is surrounded by the which uh, system is known as uh, the hydrosphere. Hmm? A thin layer that is uh, a thin layer around the earth is known as hydrosphere, and a little bit of that, or mostly we take exposure about that in chapter. Our earth is surrounded by a huge blanket of air called atmosphere. All living beings on this earth depend on the atmosphere for their survival. It provides us the air we breathe and protect us from the harmful effect of the sun's rays. Without this blanket of protection, we would be baked alive by the heat of the sun during day and get frozen during night. So it is this mass of air that has made the temperature on the earth livable. Composition of the atmosphere. Do you know that the air we take in while breathing is actually a mixture of many gases? Nitrogen and oxygen are two gases which makes up the bulk of the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon, and hydrogen are found in lesser quantities. Apart from these gases, teeny dust particles are also present in the air. The pie chart given you the percentage of the different quantity of the air. So here there is a pie chart in which we can easily see the most that is mostly found in our atmosphere, that is nitrogen, almost 78%, oxygen 21%, and all other gases like argon, neon, um, hydrogen, etc., that are in just 0.4 and 0.9%. Nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. But plants need nitrogen for their survival. So, before going ahead in this para, we will discuss. Do you know carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere creates a greenhouse effect by trapping the heat radiated from the earth. It is therefore called greenhouse gas, and without it, the earth would have been too cold to live in. However, when its level in the atmosphere increases due to factory smoke or car fumes, the heat retained increases the temperature of the earth. This is called global warming. This rise in temperature caused the snow in the coldest part of the world to melt. As a result of sea level rise causing floods in the coastal area, there may be drastic changes in the climate of the place, leading to the existence of some plants and animals in long run. But plants need nitrogen for their survival. They cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots of the some plants take nitrogen from the air and changes it from some that plants can use it. Oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Humans and animals takes oxygen from the air as they breathe. Green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis in the way oxygen content in the air remains content. If we cut trees, then this balance get disturbed. Carbon dioxide is another important gas. Green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food and release oxygen. Humans or animals release carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide released by human or animals seems to be equal to the amount of used by the plants, which make a perfect balance. However, the balance is upset by burning of fuels such as coals and oil. They add billions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year. As a result of the increasing volume of the carbon dioxide is affecting the Earth's weather and climate. Do you know when a Earth is heated, it expands because lighter and goes up. Cold air is denser and heavy. That is why it tends to sink down. When hot air rises, cold air from surrounding area rushes there to fill in the gap. That is how air circulates takes place. Hmm. Is global warming a serious issue in today's world? Yeah, along with that, the climate change, the global warming is just a component of that, is a most concerning, dreadful thing for all over the world this time. A structure of the atmosphere. Atmosphere is divided into 5 layers, starting from the Earth's surface. There are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Exo, strato, meso, thermo, and exo. Troposphere, most nearest. Troposphere, this layer is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 kilometer. The air we breathe exists here. Almost all the weather phenomenon like rainfall, fog, and hailstorm occurs in this layer. Stratosphere, above the troposphere, stratosphere lies. The stratosphere, the extend up to height 15 kilometer. This layer is almost free from clouds and associated weather phenomenon, making condition most ideal for flying aeroplanes. One important feature of the stratosphere is that it contains layer of ozone gas. We have just learned how it protects us from the harmful effect of the sun rays. Mesosphere. This is the third layer of the atmosphere. It lies above the stratosphere. It extends up to the height 1880 km. Mesosphere burns up this layer on entering from the space. Burns, burns up in this layer. Met, meteors, a small particle from all over the world, all over the universe. When they get attracted towards Earth, they are born up in this air. That's why it is called mesosphere. Met, meteoroids are born out in this layer. Thermosphere. In, in thermosphere, temperature rises very rapidly with increasing height. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. In thermosphere, there is a part of that is called ionosphere. This it extends between 18 to 400 kilometer. This layer helps to radio transmissions. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the Earth are reflected back to the Earth by this layer. Exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is known as the exosphere. This layer has very thin air, light gases like helium, hydrogen floated into the space from here. So we can show a illustration about all the spheres here. So firstly, here is our surface of the earth, and when you go just above from your surface, or where we are surviving, that the layer of atmosphere is known as the troposphere. Above its height is almost 15 kilometer. Above troposphere, when we go to, we get a one more sphere, that is a stratosphere, where a layer of ozone is founded, and in this same layer the aeroplanes and whatever we flying vehicles see, they all are fly in the stratospheres. Its height is from it is height its height is almost 15 kilometer from our surface. Above a stratosphere, we found mesosphere. Mesosphere, where the meteoroids are born up. That's why it is called mesosphere. Its height is almost 80 kilometer. Above mesosphere, there is one more sphere, that is thermosphere. In this same sphere, we got one more layer, that is part of the thermosphere. It is known as ionosphere. Ionosphere is a very useful layer because all the space transmission that happens on the earth, or mostly wireless transmission, in that transmission, the ionosphere layer uh, plays a great role. because all signals that we send into the towards the uh, sky, they all are reflected through this same layer, that is ionosphere, and after reflection they were uh, hmm, sended to the other locations by using the ionosphere. Above the thermosphere and ionosphere, we got a last layer of our uh, atmosphere. Hmm. That is exosphere, the external, most external part of the uh, our atmosphere. Uh, uh, it is above the 4 kilometer, 400 kilometer. Now we have to see. Firstly, there are some highlights. Let's do, and do you know? The first thing, let's do. For 10 days, note and drawn weather report from a local newspaper and observe the changes occurring in the weather. So it's a good activity. Uh, do you know? You will be surprised to know that the Earth receives only one in how many? 2 Arab parts of the sun's energy. Oh my dog. Hmm. Means how many? Millions, billions. Huh. Do you know? You will be surprised to know that the Earth receives only one part of energy of the sun's energy in 2 billion parts. Whatever we got energy on the earth from the suns, that is only one unit in the 2 billion parts. So you can imagine how much energy suns have. That's extremely vast. It is going to rain today. Weather and climate. We are going to discuss. It is going to rain today. Will it be bright and sunny today? How many times have we heard this from anxious cricket fans speculating the fact of the one day match? If we imagine our body to be a radio and the mind its speaker, body as a radio, the mind as a speaker, weather is something that fiddles with its control knobs. Weather is this hour to hour, day to day condition of the atmosphere. A hot and humid weather may make one irritable. A pleasant breezy weather may make one cheerful and even plan for an outing. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. However, the average weather condition of the place for a long period of the time represent the climate of the place. Now, do you understand why we have daily weather forecast? Hmm. There are two things. First is weather, and second thing is climate. Climate is a long span of any weather, like winter, summer, rainy season. These these are called climates. If we talk about weather, weather is gradually changes in the uh, hmm, natural phenomenon and the, you can say, climate. Sometimes we face, there was a little rainy, but sudden we got a extremely bright sunny light, huh? uh, and but not uh, winter. But this situation can be gradually changes, rainy and sunny. So this gradually and instant changes in the climate is known as weather. Temperature, the temperature you feel every day, this is the temperature of the atmosphere. This degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night but also from season to season. Summers are hotter than winter. An atmosphere factor that the atmosphere of the temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night but also from season to season. Summers are hotter than winter. An important factor that influence the distribution of temperature in is isolation. Isolation is the incoming solar energy inter, in, intercepted by the earth. The amount of isolation decreases from the equator towards the pole. Therefore, the temperature decreases in the same manner. Now, do you understand why poles are covered covered with snow? If the Earth's temperature rises too high, it would become too warm for some crops to grow. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of villages. The concretes and metals in buildings and the SM, SM, Esafal's road. What is that? Esafal's road get heated up during the day. This heat is released during the night. Also, the crowded, high raised buildings of the cities trap the warm air and thus raise the temperature of the cities. So we saw there a thing that temperature measures, the thermometer measures the temperature, barometer measures the atmospheric pressure, and rain gauge measures the amount of rain, and wind wave shows the direction of the wind. Uh, do you know the standard unit of the measuring temperature is degree Celsius? It was invented by Anders Celsius. On the Celsius scale, the water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Air pressure. Do we be surprised to know that air above us pressures us with a great force on our body? However, we don't even feel it. This is because the air pressures us from all directions and our body exerts a counter pressure. Air pressure is defined as the pressure is exerted by the weight of air on the earth's surface, and we go up the layer of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. The air pressure is highest at sea level and the decreases with height. Horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of the air at a given place. The area where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rise. This creates a low pressure area. Low pressure area is associated with a cloudy skies and wet weather. In areas having lower temperature, the air is cold. It is therefore heavy. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. High pressure is associated with clear and sunny sky. Sunny skies. The air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. Do you know? On the moon there is no air and hence no air pressure. Atmosphere astronauts have to wear a special protective spacesuit filled with the air when they go to moon. If they did not wear this spacesuit, the counter pressure exerted by the body of the astronauts would make the blood vessels burst. The astronauts would bleed. Now we have to discuss about wind. The movement of air. There is no effect. Wind. The movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure area is called wind. High pressure to low pressure. You can see winds at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots trees during a storm. Sometimes when the winds blows gently, you can even see it blowing away a smoke or fine dust. At times, winds can be so strong that it is difficult to walk against it. You must have experienced it. It is not easy to hold an umbrella on windy days. Think of some other examples when strong winds have created problems for you. Wind can be broadly divided into three types. Before that, we have to see the do you know? A wind is named after the direction from which is blown. That is, the winds blow from the west is called westerly. So now we have to know the three types. First is permanent wind. That is the first is permanent, second is seasonal wind, and thirdly local wind. The permanent wind. The trade winds, westerlies and westerlies and easterlies are the permanent winds. These blow constantly throughout the year in the particular direction. Seasonal winds. These winds changes their direction in different season. For example, monsoon in India. The local wind. These blew only during the particular period of the day or year in the small area. For example, land and seas breezes. Breeze. Do you recall the hot and dry local wind of the northern planets of the India? It is called Lu. That is a type of local wind. Cyclone and nature's fury. Odisha, located on the eastern sea coast of India, is prone to cyclones that originated in the Bay of Bengal. On 17th and 18th October 1999, cyclone hit 5 districts of the state. Another super cyclone occurred on the 29th October 1999 that devastated large portion of the state. The damages caused were mainly due to three factors: wind velocity, rain, and tidal surge. The winds of upon 20 216 kilometers per hour latest for over for 36 hours. These high velocity winds uprooted trees and damaged a kucha houses, roofs, tops of the several industries, sheds, and other houses were also blown away. Power supply and telecoms lines snapped completely. Heavy rain occurred under the influence of cyclone for 3 days continuously. These rains led to flooding in the major rivers of Odisha. The cyclonic winds caused tidal waves that wave sweeps 20 kilometer inland and brought massive destruction to the coastal area. The 7 to 10-meter high tidal waves in, intra, entered suddenly and caused massive damage to the standing paddy crops. What I'm saying. The cyclone originated at depression in the Gulf of the Thailand near east of Port Valor on 25th October 1999 and gradually movement in the northwestern direction. It intensified into the supercyclone and hit the area between Irizema and Balikuda in Odisha. On 29th October at 10:30 am, the supercyclone swept the entire coast of Orissa, including the cities of Bhubaneswar and Kotak, and 28 coastal towns. About 13 million people were affected. A large number of livestock were killed. Standing crops of paddy, vegetables, and fruits were heavily damaged due to salination caused by tidal search. Large tract of agricultural land have turned in, infertile. Large tracts of shale take a bamboo plantations have dis- disappeared. The mangrove forest between Paradip and Konark vanished. Hmm. Now we have to know about the moisture. Moisture. When water evaporates from land and different water bodies, it becomes water vapor. Moisture is moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. When the air is full of water vapor, we call it humid, humid, and as the air gets warmer, it its capacity to hold the water vapor increases, and so it becomes more and more humid. On the on a humid day, clothes takes longer to dry and sweat from our bodies just do not evaporate easily, making us feel very uncomfortable. When the water vapors rise, it starts cooling the water vapor con- condensation, causing formation of the droplets of the water. Clouds are just masses of such water drops. When these drops of water becomes too heavy to float in the air, then they comes down as precipitation. Just plants fly in the sky, leave a white trail behind them. The moisture from their engines con- condenses. We see trials of this condensed moisture for the some time when there is no air movement to disturb it. Precipitation that comes down to the earth in liquid form is called rain. Most of ground's water comes from the rainwater. Plants have preserved water. When trees on hill sides are cut, rainwater flows down the bar mountains and can cause flooding of low lying areas. On the basis of mechanism, there are three types of rainfall: the convectional rainfall, the convectional orographic rainfall, and cyclonic rainfall. The all type of rainfall is here. Cyclonic rainfall happens how there are cold air, here is warm air, that when they get countered with each other, then rainfall happens. uh, Relief orographic rainfall happens due to by hitting any mountains or objects in most of the areas, like Aravalli's area in the Himalayan areas. Mostly that monsoon comes in the mostly uh, northeastern part of the India. That is a type of relief orographic rainfalls. They are the clouds get strike to the mountains, and they become rain or droplets of the rain. Conventional rainfall, when the uh, uh, warm airs go and strike to the those clouds, then rain happens. Or that rain in the Rajasthan and the western part of the India happens mostly are this type of rain. We can say the monsoon that returns from the western part of the India, um, towards the northeastern part. That is the mostly this type of the rain, that is conventional rainfall. So these are three types of rainfall. Rainfalls is a very important for the survival of the plants and animals. It brings fresh water to Earth's surface. If rainfalls is less, water scarcity and drought occurs. On the other hand, if it is more, flood take place. Mm. Do you know other form of precipitations are snow, sleet, hail? Hail. I was uh, curious about that. Why rain is calling precipitations, and I have to uh, search about this. What is precipitation? But here is also a mentioned thing that precipitation can be of different type. The when the water droplets come from the clouds, that is called rain. It's a type of precipitation. Similarly, in the uh, colder areas, snow areas, when the snow comes from the sky towards land, then it is also snowing of the ices. uh, Snows, it is called snows. That is known as other type of precipitation. Similarly, sleet and hail, I don't know about this sleet. Sleet, I think dust, and hail, I don't know. So I will check about this. Now we have exercise to discuss. Answer the following questions. What is atmosphere? Atmosphere, the layer of airs around the earth is known as atmosphere. Which two gases makes bulk of the atmosphere? First is hydrogen 78% and second one is oxygen 21%. Which gases creates greenhouse effect in the atmosphere? Carbon dioxide mainly. And also we can say vap what vapor, water vapor. What is weather? Weather is a gradually and not gradually instant change in climate, or in in days and nights. Name three types of rainfall. We discussed cyclonic rainfall, relief, yeah, orographic rainfall, orographic, hmm, and conventional rainfall. Hmm. What is air pressure? Air pressure, nothing but the pressure that is imposed by the atmosphere on every object existing in this atmosphere is known as uh, what air pressure. And air pressure is measured by the or atmospheric pressure is measured by the barometer. Hmm. Take the correct answer. Which of the following gases protects us from harmful sun rays? Carbon dioxide, nitrogen, ozone. Ozone. The most important layer of the atmosphere is uh, tropo sphere, thermosphere, mesosphere. Most important layer of the atmosphere is troposphere. Troposphere, where we survives. Which of the following layer of the atmosphere is free from clouds? Troposphere, not stratosphere, not mesosphere. We can say mesosphere. As we go up the layer of the atmosphere, atmospheric pressure increases, decreases, remains same, decreases. In atmospheric pressure decreases as we increase our height. Mm. When precipitation comes down to the earth in the liquid form, it is called rain. Mm. Now we have to match the following: the trade winds, low, monsoon, and wind. Incoming solar energy. Incoming solar energy. What we incoming solar energy. Seasonal wind. Uh, Seasonal wind, we can say it trade wind. Horizontal movement of air is known as wind. The layer of ozone gas. I'm unable to match this. Permanent wind is known as uh, wind. The local wind, Lu, and from which we can match the monsoon. Monsoon, monsoon, and here incoming energy, and layer of ozone gas. Hmm. Give regions. Wet cloth takes longer time to dry on a humid day uh, because there is a lots water vapor, and the particles of water are present in those time. That's why they takes longer time. Amount of isolation decreases from uh, equator towards pole. Amount of isolation decreases. uh, Isolation, I want to know one more time about this isolation. What is actually this? uh, Temperature, an important factor that influence the distribution of the temperature, that is isolation. Distribution of temperature decreases. Distribution of temperature is known as isolation. Due to the position of the sun on the earth, not positions of the earth, the imposing light that was imposed on the earth, uh, whose most part is comes under the this is equator, and this is cap of cancer. This is mm, there are two lines in Hindi called Kark Rekha and Makar Rekha. So the whole year, mostly sun's light travels to this region, only this region. So as we go towards the pole, uh, the temperature of the earth decreases gradually. In the both poles we got extremely cold weather, extremely cold temperature, and that's why in the both of the poles of the earth is nothing but ice. uh, so that's the reason. This is the end of the chapter. For fun, we can solve the crossword puzzle with the help of given clues. That is a different thing to solve this puzzle. It's also some make a weather calendar for and week. Use pictures or symbols to know different type of weather. Uh, you can use more than a symbol in a day if weather changes. For example, the sun comes out when rain stops, and explain is given below. Like the day you got sun, you felt sunny and a little bit cloudy. So sun and with cloud we can make in the emoji format. It is easy to make in the format of emojis. In the next chapter, we will discuss about water, what is water and how it influences our life and the beings of life who they are surviving on this earth. That's all I have for today. Thank you to all.